Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here for this panel on late night and democracy. I want this to be more of a conversation, so feel free to talk whenever, talk
Hey,
over
Aparna.
me. Hi, hi. Thank you. Thank you for just taking my advice and running with it. I had a softball question right off the top before we really get into the dirt. Um, Ashley, not to put you on the spot, but I did read that Stacey Abrams said that she would want you to play her in a biopic. I never know how to say that word, biopic. And
Biopic.
you agreed, of course, obviously. So my question to all of you is there anyone else you would want to play in a biopic? If you could play anyone, like you're like a white man and any role is open to you, is there anyone who comes to mind? Yeah.
Well, Stacey is top of the list
Sure.
because I've interviewed her a couple of times, and I think what people don't know about her is that she's actually super funny. And so I think like I would seem like a weird pick because people don't know that she's actually hilarious. So she's definitely actually at the top of my list.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Amber, Sarah, anyone come to mind?
I think, first off, I think it's biopic.
I know. I also think it's
bio as in biography, and pick as in pick your teeth. I think I would want to be like, I would want to have a biopic of like a fictional character.
Ooh,
I would want to be like, and if it could be anyone, it would be Yosemite Sam. That would just be the most fun I've ever had. You run around shooting guns and laughing.
Oh my gosh.
Curling your mustache would be great.
Also, if it's literally everyone, I would also like to play Gwyneth Paltrow because I want to dig into a life where your life has been so whatever it is that you forget that you were in a Marvel movie. I want to live that. I want to experience that.
Love it. Love it. Sarah, anyone come?
Oh my God. There's so many people. I mean, from Kanye to Jesus Christ. I mean, who would I want to play?
People would say that's the same thing.
But, I'm thinking I'd want to play Holly Robinson Peete because she was the first non-threatening sort of Black woman that I got exposed to, and I'm considered a non-threatening Black woman, and so I think that would be fun to play her and her story.
Yeah. Oh, hanging with Mr. Cooper, that was crucial watching for me. Okay, now for the serious questions. What do you guys think is the role of satire and comedy in our democracy? Anyone can jump in, or I'm happy to pick on people.
Don't pick on us.
I know. Well, I love power, you know.
I think that it really doesn't truly have a role except to
inspire demagogues. To inspire demagogues. Stephen Colbert is the reason we had Trump. That is my theory, because he was this caricature of this right-wing commentator that we thought was funny, but then a part of society took that very seriously and made it reality. So satire is very dangerous right now, I think, because any joke you make, literally it happens the next day. So it's almost like you're a predictor of the future in a bad way, because you're trying to make a joke, but you're actually predicting the next thing the Republicans are going to do. So it's wild. I'm sorry, I totally cut you off, Amber, but I was trying to make it a conversation, but you go ahead.
I was going to say that.
Oh, really? That would be amazing. I've never met you before, and I'm such a huge fan of all three of you.
Oh my gosh,
and
I'm a fan of everyone here.
I've been a fan of all of you for a long time.
A conversation between my Twitter feed for sure.
Right.
Those people that you're like, you know what, I've liked too many. I'm going to take one off just so it's not so obvious. I think people want comedy to be able to like convince people of a point or what's good or what's right. And I don't think I think comedy can do that. And I've experienced that in live comedy for sure. Like I've experienced audience members coming up to me after a show and feeling like we connected during the show and they've thought about some things. I don't know that television can do that at this point in history because the audience is so segmented that people are only even advertised your show if they're already going to agree with you. So there's really no one showing up to convince. But someone did do a study. This was like in the very early days of Sam B and John Oliver, and they found out that if you were introducing a new topic to people that they had never heard of before, that you really could get people passionate and engaged and educated about an issue via comedy. But if it was an issue they already had their opinion about, like let's say abortion, everybody has their opinion about abortion. There's not a joke on TV that's going to change someone's opinion about that thing. So I think it can work in that way, but in a very specific way that people want it to be able to do more than it can. But I also think historically the role of comedy and satire has always been to like speak truth to power and like make fun of power. And so I think that's still what satire is doing today. We're just at a weird point in history where powerful people don't care what you think about them anymore. Like it used to be that like the king would get embarrassed. Oh, the jester made fun of me. And now the king is like, the jester making fun of me is why you should donate more to my campaign. And
yeah, in that sense, since you guys all have, done many things where comedy and politics intersect, is there a way, like if there is a topic that you would want people to care more about or learn more about, what is your way into it? Or like, what is a way you want to make it more accessible? Or how do you even begin to do that? It's like something that not everyone even knows what it is, like gerrymandering or something.
Well, I ask Ashley and then she writes a piece on it. Quite literally how I do it.
Wait, what happened?
I said I asked Ashley and she writes a piece on it.
Oh, and that's what you do.
I say the word.
You say the words.
But I feel like we found a really interesting weird thing where like because I started my career as a teacher. So I will write something really nerdy and really angry because that's my personality, and then I turn it into Amber and Jenny, and what comes back is like has so much beauty and heart and love to it. And I feel like that's actually the combination of us that probably works better than me just yelling at people for 7 minutes, and that's why you're the one who's on TV.
We like yelling.
Yelling could be
you have such a great way of yelling, Amber, where you're not really yelling, you know what I mean? Your voice still sounds so sweet.
My husband that. Guys, I feel like being in quarantine, which is not what we're talking about, and I'm so sorry to take this.
No, it's
being in
so
quarantine
relevant.
has turned us all into Catskills comedians. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
It's getting real bad.
What's a Catskill comedian? What does that mean?
I mean, it's a little bit of a...
Yeah, like a vaudeville.
The camera is so close.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of mugging.
A lot of mugging.
I had a few people write and say that they were Trump supporters, but they thought my videos were funny. So, but none of them, I feel like I got a few stories that were like, oh, I showed it to my mom and she was like, oh, wow, like, is that him? Did he really say that? And, Trump supporters maybe like got a little wise to how dumb he sounded, but I think some people were just like, yeah, that's my guy. I like this, I like what this woman's saying. I don't know. It was weird, but I don't think I converted anybody. I mean, I think it was really just, I hope people got more engaged and hopefully voted and hopefully like, got more, I don't know, wanting to do something about it, but I don't know if I changed anybody's minds. It was really, I was just reflecting back to them what they already felt and already thought. And that was what was cathartic about it, is because I was saying, hey, you're not crazy. He sounds like an idiot. It's true.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Yeah.
No.
That's a big thing because people were saying all kinds of crazy shit. And then everyone was because the crazy shit was such a constant stream, everyone could pick their little corner. Friggin' 5G is killing us.
Yeah.
We don't have to wear masks. There's a child pizza pedophile ring. I mean, there was something for everybody in there. So that was the smart thing they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys got this during the reign of terror, but I got a lot like, oh, isn't Trump great for comedy? You guys, like, comedians must be having a field day. How did you respond to that? Because I never quite knew how to express the right amount of horror at that question.
I always would say happiness is good for comedy.
Yeah.
Being happy is much better for comedy than Trump.
Yeah.
Trump made people feel really angry. I just feel like the 4 years that were like waves. Like when he first started running, when he first ran, it was hysterical. It was so funny. And then it was like scary. And then it was terrifying. And then, you know, I would get on stage and just the mention of Trump, people would just like freeze up and they didn't even want to hear about him. But then we got used to him. And I think I talked about him a little bit, but it was a weird thing to say it's good for comedy when it was so harrowing what was happening, you know? So I don't know if it was great for my career, but other than that, I don't know if it was good for comedy. I think the one thing that I do like about it is that now that he's not around, I feel like everyone has to work a little bit harder. I feel like I have to, like, you know, there's more that I want to say, there's more that I want to do. Like he was just like this constant stream of crap that I could use to generate stuff with. And now that that's not there anymore, I like that we have to like do something different. And I hope things get sillier now. I hope things get more absurd now, you know, than what we were kind of talking about last year.
It also, like, I don't think people realized how much comedy they missed out on because of Trump. Because like when Trump was running, I was on Full Frontal, and that was also when we started the show. And when we started that show, we were doing pieces about maternal morbidity rates, about the Catholic Church being held accountable for child abuse, like stuff that was very hard to make funny, but stuff that was like, we weren't talking about that needed to be talked about. And maybe a few jokes will make you want to hear this story. And then Trump comes, and every week you're talking about Trump, and you'd write this whole long piece about environmental racism in the South and people who are getting cancer from the water coming out of their taps. And it gets thrown away because Trump said something crazy in a rally. And yes, that's specific to late night, but I think also, I'm sure I remember when Trump was elected, the head of ABC coming out and being like, well, we didn't know there were this many people out there like this. So now we need to make TV that caters to them, which, you know, they were there before. They were watching Scandal like everybody else. But all the shows that like didn't get picked up that year because they didn't cater to a certain subset of the culture. Like, I don't think Trump helped comedy. I think comedy became about one thing for 4 years, and people who wanted to talk about anything else, some of those things which are incredibly important to our culture, didn't get talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Do you guys have any hopes for the current administration, comedy wise, something that would really just help take your job to the next level?
I hope they just shut up. Someone said something about you remember how if you were working on a show during the Trump administration, when he gave a speech, you had to watch it and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Insane. And then the other night, Jenny texted me at like 8 p.m. talking about, oh, I think Joe Biden's talking to him or something. I don't know. And we just didn't watch it. And then didn't see an article about it the next day. I was like, that's fantastic.
Oh, amazing.
I can't wait to ignore this dude.
Fantastic press. I will say bad on the press. They keep complaining like he won't give a press conference. I'm like, I don't know, but I signed up for a coronavirus vaccine, so fuck off. Like, I don't like, yeah. I really actually don't need him to talk to us every day. Please just do your job.
Yeah. I love now waking up to him thinking, what did he tweet now? Like, I love that.
Yeah. I think it's so strange he was like taken off Twitter at the end of everything, like way after the fact. It's like, okay, now it's okay to take
now that we've made all our money,
right?
We can take you off Twitter now. But I am very glad he's off Twitter. I'm very glad about that.
It's a much different place now.
Yeah.
What did you have you guys actually ever had like a political sketch or a joke or just something that you thought was great, but you just could not get it on air, or like you couldn't get it to work, or it just didn't do as well as you thought, but you still stand by it?
No. Like, everything no, we do works all the time.
I know. I'm like, oh dear, I really outed myself here.
Wait, know. Do you?
Yeah. I have jokes. I don't know if they're political. My stuff is never overtly political in the way of like shaking my fist.
How would you describe what that not overtly political joke is?
Well, I don't know if you guys also get told this, but like as a woman of color, I'm always told like just you holding a microphone is a political act. And you're like, okay, I'll take it.
I do sometimes feel that way as a plus size woman. Like I'll get requests to do interviews about my body positive activism. And I'm like, I didn't do an activism. I wore an outfit outside of the house. That's not an activism.
Oh my gosh. Do you feel like comedy has taught you anything more about being politically active, or the opposite? Like has your politics ever been affected by comedy, or the other way around?
Probably.
Yes.
At the very beginning.
I have to say so, and I'll date myself right now. I am 43 years old, but I will say, and I know I'm going to get some hate for this, but back in the day, I got first politically active because of Bill Maher, and his and everything surrounding the Iraq War. I mean, that was the first time I really started to get political, and it was because of his comedy and him and the statements he made, around the wrongness of that war. So, yeah, I mean, the hard thing that I think you guys do so amazingly is like the education with the comedy, which I think is so hard, because sometimes like Amber, I saw your piece about the Asian Americans who were murdered this week, and it's so hard to strike that tone of like, I'm being entertaining, but I'm also being very sensitive to what I'm talking about. And it's like, you do it so beautifully, but it's just not easy, especially when something is so sensitive and so, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to do.
Oh, thank you. Ashley wrote it.
Well, forget you, Amber. Ashley, good job.
Yeah. No, but it's very easy to just talk. I mean, it's just no one wants to do. Like, you have all those little feelings. Your feelings aren't only, I'm mad. That's not your only feeling. Why is that the only thing you're showing us? You know, I feel like there aren't a lot of shows that will be like, this hurt my feelings. No one's out there saying that. Mm-hmm. My feelings hurt. I can't say that. So it seems like a weird thing no one is doing, but then it fits. It goes fine. It's perfectly fine for me to be like, I'm a full lady and this hurt my feelings. So be nice. No one cares. They're like, yeah, that's right.
Are you so excited about your show?
Yeah, it got renewed. So excited.
That's so cool. Yeah. I just saw that news. I'm so excited for you guys. I mean, it must be so hard too, doing it with no audience and stuff. Or is it getting easier, or is it?
I have the memory of a goldfish. I don't remember having an audience, but I'm barely kidding. This is how it's always been, right? Because it was like 8 months before of home shows for late night Seth before my show started. So I was like, yeah, it's like this. It's quiet. Yeah, great. I feel like if there were people there, then if there's people there, then your mistakes echo. But if you go, oops, oh, can we just do that again? Yeah, because there's no audience. Great. No one cares.
When I did my first piece in the studio on Full Frontal, Jason Jones told me, he was like, don't worry, if you mess up, you can just do it again. And these idiots, they'll laugh for you even louder the second time because they feel bad for you. So honestly, mess up and get a louder laugh. And it's like such a weird, just reframing it that way made me feel so confident. And every time I'm like, they'll love it if I have to do it again. They'll have a fun story to tell.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah, I know you've made a ton of stuff for the internet. How do you feel making stuff without knowing what the reaction would be right away? Like, what are things you keep in mind as you're making it?
Like right now, stuff I'm working on that I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know. I just need I need feedback, and it was weird going from like early last year 60,000 followers to now 2.4 million. Like, I don't know, it's just like crazy to the point that I don't even get on Twitter anymore because it's too many people, and I just feel like I don't have anything important enough to say to millions of people. Like, I used to just tweet every thought I had, and now I'm just like, well, let me be really careful about like what I tweet. But I like to just have little like Zoom readings with people, with friends, and just read stuff out loud. I have to hear it out loud, and I have to, that's the only way for me to know if it's really working, because something that sounds brilliant in my head is not good at all sometimes. And then something that sounds really stupid, it works. So I don't know, it's really about hearing it out loud for me.
Cool.
I still don't know if it's going to be successful, but at least I feel good about it.
That's the joy of comedy. You just never know why something that worked a million times suddenly doesn't.
Well, I thought about the fact that like when you write something, you're in one mood, and when it actually gets made, you're in another mood, and when it actually gets on TV, the person who sees it is in their own mood, depending on who they're with or they're alone. Like, there's so many reasons why something might work or not work in every stage. It's really hard to control.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's a miracle there's any common, people like anything, all one the same thing. My mom said, I visited my mom, she was like, I watched Bridgerton, I watched the whole thing, and I loved it, except the sex scenes. They could have done without that part. I was like, and then my dad, he asked me what WAP means. My dad.
What did you say?
I said, ask mom. I didn't want to tell him. I couldn't. No, no way. Sorry.
We all have a line we can't cross. Yeah. Do you guys have any topics that, now that there is like so much more bandwidth to talk about things that we just didn't, were dominated by Trump, whatever Trump said, like that you would like to tackle now, or just like areas that you feel like you'd love to give more amplification to?
I'm really invested in the regular everyday life of marginalized people. And I think with Black Lives Matter and all of that was going on this summer, now a lot of people in Hollywood are like, oh, we should talk about these things, but they're still interested in like the big dramatic, crazy moments. And those things do happen, but all the rest of the days of the year, we're just like fighting with our mom and falling in love and doing all the like normal stuff. And that's what I hope that we turn our attention to, just like real life.
Amber or Sarah?
I agree 100%.
I disagree.
Wow. Get out of here.
Care to elaborate?
Only exist when they're being oppressed. Outside of that, I've never met one. There you go.
Going back to something Sarah said, I am curious, like Amber and Ashley, when you are tackling like a more difficult subject, or just something that it feels like there's information that is probably relevant to get across to people who might not be fully aware of what the nuances of it are, how do you kind of try to make a balance between getting the right information out and making it funny?
I really feel like with our like political pieces, we just like to make a point and prove it, and we want to prove it in a way that gives you information you may not already have, and that's really the only goal. And because you can't get a laugh off of a joke until everyone understands it, I can't be like, what a fancy cat, until I'm talking about a picture of a cat in a tiara. You know what I mean? Then I can't get the laugh until you know what I'm talking about. Then,
see, I thought you were talking about the cat that was the lawyer. So I'm glad you explained it.
You have to, this is what comedy is about. It's mostly about cute pictures. Shit, if it were up to me. But you know what I mean? So it does, it all kind of goes together to me. It is never like, this is the things we have to make sure to hit. I just think it's a little more like a conversation kind of.
Like this. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Journey.
Like I just like using the word journey because I watched The Bachelor. No, sorry.
Let's see.
What do you think? I feel like we should be asking you questions too.
I mean, I don't know. I always feel like I am always trying to make myself laugh first and foremost. And then I almost try to get the information out first when I've ever had to write something where it's like there is political stuff involved or just like important facts that people need to know. I try to get those in first and then write the jokes around it just to not dilute the information. But I feel like it always depends on the topic because some things are just more sensitive and you're like, well, once I say this, I'm gonna have to get them back because they're gonna be kind of bummed out.
Yeah. Also like how the kind of information, because like pieces like that, I do the same thing. I just write let me explain the whole thing and then go back and find places to put jokes. But some things are like, I'm not actually going to explain this whole thing to you. I'm just going to say, isn't this weird? And like, let you think about it. And some of the sketches like on Black Lady's sketch show, like The Invisible Spy, the whole sketch is just like, isn't it weird that we keep making these spy movies about like super hot people knowing damn well no super hot person could sneak around us because we put so much focus on hot people. So it's not like, I'm not explaining the history of like colorism or any of that in this piece. Literally just like, isn't it weird that we treat hot people this way?
Yeah.
Then it's like, you can just take a very simple idea and then just put it in the right environment and let people absorb it as they will.
Yeah. I think I actually learned that in an improv class once where you start in the middle of the scene because then people are already sort of invested. They're like, okay, you're not spoon feeding us this information. Like we're in on it as well.
Thank you, UCB.
Yeah, I just wanted to plug improv really quick. Well, we only have a few minutes left. I wanted to see if you guys had anything you wanted to plug or promote or, concluding thoughts you wanted to get out in case I did not touch on something you wanted to talk about.
Oh my God.
I actually do want to plug improvs. You said that as a joke, but I think people should do improv. We can't really do it now because of the pandemic, but I feel like there's a lot of particularly women who like want to try comedy, but it's been seen as such a male space in the past. And like, if you want to try it, you should do it. Opening up your computer and writing a joke is free. Like go take an improv class, just try it. It's fun.
I'm actually, this is a kind of random thing, but I'm actually having people audition for my pilot right now. And one thing I've noticed is that, and I think this is true for a lot of minorities, we feel like we have to be perfect all the time because we don't get a lot of chances. And so we really want to make it count. And there were a few actors who came in who are kind of like powering through what seemed like hard times. Like this one girl looked like she was about to cry. And I'm just saying, like, if you get an opportunity, take your time. Just take your time. I'm giving advice. I'm not even plugging anything, but take your time. Say, hey, I need a minute, or hey, can we do this in an hour? Like, don't be afraid to do that. Like, give yourself the best opportunity that you can do, because I think a lot of us put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be like super perfect, and we're all human. So
I love that. Amber, any closing thoughts?
I just want to take a second to talk really quickly about watch the Amber Ruffin show, watch Lady Diamonds and Myers, watch Black Lady Sketch Show, buy You'll Never Believe What Happened to Lacey, audiobook and paper and shit.
That's great. You got to get those plugs in. That's why we're all in this business.
That was the messiest plug I've ever seen in my life, by the way.
Just fully mouth into the camera.
Buy my stuff.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this has been so lovely. I truly am such a fan of all of you. I'm so excited for everything you have going on. I'm watching, I'm reading, I'm listening. So keep doing what you're doing, which is greatness. Thanks so much. Aparna. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amber.
Talk to everybody.